Hey YouTube, how you doing? Scarpad with Scarpad's Sci-Fi Sojourns. Another week, another movie. Happy Valentine's Day, and this is appropriate for Valentine's Day because the movie we're talking about tonight is 2002's Solaris, starring George Clooney and Natasha Mahel, I think is how they pronounce it. Basically, this is a remake of a 1972 Russian film, which was based on a novel, a Polish novel from Stanislaw Lim. Was also a TV movie in '68. According to the writer of this movie and the director, Steven Soderbergh, who did Sex, Lies, and Videotape and a ton of other movies, this was close to Lim's novel. Of course, Lim didn't like either versions of these movies, so there's that. Also, this was produced by James Cameron back in 2002. That'd be around what? Time of the first I forget what was back there for him. Was it the I don't know, the Abyss maybe? I'm not sure. Anyways, this is a movie about a George Clooney's character who's a psychiatrist who goes off to a space station after the death of his wife because something's odd going on there. They've sent people out there. They can't get these people to come back. They can't get them to do their jobs. This is a spaceship rather, and they've traveled to this new planet they've discovered called Solaris. And once George Clooney's there, he finds out that the reason why this is happening is because the planet or something, the zone around the planet is causing these people to appear from people's thoughts, family members, long dead family members. Of course, Clooney, of course, sees his wife. Other people see, the other guy sees his brother, supposedly. And we never get Viola Davis's character. We never find out what she sees, but I guess it's bad enough to get her to really rebel against everything that's going on and want to destroy this force that's causing them to relive their lives with these people. So to get into it with me, we're going to bring on tonight's guest, and that's going to be Link. How's it going, Link?
Cheers. What's going on, brother?
Oh, not too much. So we're going to kind of dispense with the formatting that we usually do, a favorite character, a favorite moment. This movie doesn't really lend itself to that.
Right.
I'll talk about a little bit my thoughts. Jump in anytime you want. Okay. Overall, I like the movie. I like the movie's story, but I don't know about the presentation as much. It is slow. It's very talky. It's a little convoluted. It took me. I won't. I'm not afraid to tell you, I kind of dozed a few seconds here and there. So I was using my rewind button to go back and listen to stuff and try to again.
This was yeah. I think you said it best. A little bit convoluted. Like this movie almost didn't know what it wanted to be at times. Like it was really leaning into the love story, but then it would like flash back to like it's trying to explain the scientific aspect, lean more into the sci-fi.
I think 95% this movie is a love story. It just happens to be set on the space station, and the force and the planet is just kind of a MacGuffin to have this guy go back and relive his life and everything that's happened. I mean, I went and read the Wikipedia page while to get some of the things I couldn't quite get the movie. And the Wikipedia page does kind of tell you some of the things that the movie does tell you, but in such a way that's very hard to pick up. Like, I knew that she had terminated pregnancy, and that's what made them split.
Right.
And then she ends up killing herself because he left her. Otherwise, she just seems kind of off kilter. Maybe I thought mental illness was in there. I had to listen to find out there was an aborted pregnancy. And then I thought, because of that, I thought that the kid that is at the end was maybe his dead aborted son because it's bringing everybody back. But it's not. It's the doctor's reading the
doctor's
son.
He met him earlier on in the film.
Well, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really. We saw the kid earlier on when George Clooney just gets there.
And he runs away from.
Yeah. We didn't really know that the doctor had a kid, did we? We didn't see him. Did we? Anything else?
We did. They didn't. We got to learn that through the kooky guy. The one that was left.
Kooky guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he said it in passing conversation, but they didn't elaborate on that. It was just he mentioned it, and that was that.
The only,
That's his son.
the only plot point that I probably missed it. The only plot point that I did kind of key in on early is I knew that guy was probably the copy, and he had killed him.
That surprised me honestly, but when I learned that, the way he presented himself throughout the entire movie made sense. Like I was like,
Right.
okay, so he's just come to life and he's just overwhelmed with everything, like. But that was I don't know, that goes into me feeling like it's convoluted because there's all these questions left on the sci-fi side of the movie where it's like we don't know how the planet was. I mean, they kind of gave a vague explanation of it, like the atoms and.
You're not
But
really
it's like,
supposed to know. It's supposed to be just a reason for the story to happen. It's not really, but I don't think we're ever going to go into depth on it. I just think that the questions and the answers that they do, the things that they do have in the movie, they're there. But because the movie is so directed so stodgily, and because the movie is kind of convoluted in the way it presents its answers, they're hard to get out. This is definitely a movie you could watch 2 or 3 times.
Oh yeah,
you could get through it.
I think it kind of fails on the romance aspect too, because I found myself thinking like when we open the movie, it's just George Clooney is explaining what's going on. He's sent off into space, and then we learn of the love story later on. But I felt like if we had like kind of had the love story interspliced, like just aspects of it in the beginning, not necessarily the whole relationship, we would have kind of known like it didn't really hold any weight. And then I don't know. It's like when he first found out the copy and he sent her off out in the airlock and shit. He seemed like he was acting in the character, but it just, the second copy comes and she's like, no, it's me. And he's just willing to accept it. Like, it just seems too sudden, the shift. Like, he had such turmoil with the first copy that with the second copy, it didn't seem like, oh shit, it's you. Okay, I'll roll with it.
She just kind of resurrected herself. Yeah, and then the whole bit at the end, it was really a little hard to get through where, that the doctor helps the copy through an assisted suicide, and then does something to his pills so that he sleeps through waking her up because he's reliving it. That whole thing was just done so, it was very tough.
It was rushed.
Yeah, I felt it was. I kind of feel like the original Russian movie that this is based off of was like a 3-hour film, 3+ hours.
Yeah, needed. This is a story that needed that time.
This movie was 1 hour and 38 minutes, and I think the studio cut some stuff to get shorter run time. Yeah, because this movie seems like it needed to be over 2 hours or right at 2 hours
at least. Yeah,
because the way it was cut up and edited, it was very tough to get those answers out. They were there. They were just very hard to follow and very hard to pull out.
No, yeah, absolutely. I just kept thinking throughout when I was watching it, if the movie had just rearranged certain things or just had a little bit more time to explain certain things without, because like you said, it's convoluted the way they.
Well, I think in 2002, the whole telling a story in flashback was big in vogue. A lot of movies did it. A lot of TV shows did it. Where you get
Lost came out 2 years later,
3 weeks earlier. I hated that. After a while, I hate that, and I noticed they've abandoned that. Where you open it up and you get to a scene in the beginning, something happens, and 4 weeks earlier, just come on. Why can't you just show it from 4 weeks earlier and go forward? I'm so bored with that. But that was big in fashion. And Soderbergh, I think, did a lot of this with a lot of his other movies where they jumped around. They weren't linear. I did like the romance angle of it. I kind of felt for Clooney. His performance I thought was really good. I mean, they did show him in the beginning. In the beginning, he's just getting out of bed. He's sitting there by himself. He went to a grief counseling session. All these people talking about their grief and stuff. But that was kind of rushed too. So then when bang bang comes home, he's off into space. You know what I mean? It didn't really establish the world too much.
I'll give it that credit that the emotions when they were showing the flashback of how he met his wife, all that stuff I love the music in it. I will say that the sound and the music was excellent. I looked it up. The composer actually does a lot of work with Nicholas Refn. I can never pronounce his name, but the director of Drive. So if you
Okay.
know his stuff, he's very particular about his music usage. So yeah, the music had a very ambient like thing going on when it came to like the flashback scenes, and it was there's like a scene where he's like looking at her, but every time he looked at her, I think she was like changing poses, but there's like this, they were striking a chord. It was just, the music was A1, sound A1. Um, the love story was there, but it's like they were doing flashbacks, and it's like they'd start getting into part of
Right.
the relationship, and they cut to something that had to do with them trying to explain the plot. It was just jarring a little bit.
Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, in the case of a very short movie, we go from, Clooney spacing his wife in an airlock to basically, oh no, you're not stopping me from bringing her back to Earth. I mean,
Right. Fuck Earth.
Where did that kind of come from? I mean,
Yeah. That's what I meant. Like the build up, like that's
I feel there's some
not
stuff cut there in the
realistic.
middle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. We
That
never
because
really got the reasons why Viola Davis's character didn't want, was so hell bent on destroying these things. Apparently,
yeah,
whoever they brought back for her was a monster,
traumatized her.
but we don't see that.
Right.
And then at the end, it's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. I'm
And then
going home.
there's so many lingering questions about the copy that killed himself. Like, can he not? Does it not work for copies that are created from Solaris? Like, are they just? And I don't know. They knew they were different versions of themselves. Like the copies knew they weren't the original copies. But then you had the little boy at the end. He's hiding from everybody. But then when they're being overtaken by Solaris because it's expanding, the little boy just kind of walks up to him and like puts out his hand. Like I don't know.
Right. Yeah, why did
Was
that
he
matter?
just pretending to be a little boy?
No, I don't know. I think it must have been his son must have been dead, and he was left. He was left there. He was just, I guess, after the guy they died, the copies are still there. I guess they're just there. But why would he go up to George? Who's George Clooney and who's Clooney to
To
him?
him,
I guess he
right?
just wanted to hold somebody's hand while he was dying. That's why originally I thought that was George Clooney's aborted son, maybe, and
To bring
brought
him
copy.
closure,
And that, yeah,
right?
it's something, kind of make a 2001 type thing,
You're right.
as the thing's crashing down on the planet. Kind of reminded me a little
The,
bit. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say the performances were all great though. Like everyone played a great role for what they had to work with. I mean, you don't really learn too much about Viola Davis's
Right.
character, but they were good for what they presented. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember. I'm a big Star Trek fan, as you well know, and I tied everything back. There was a Star Trek movie, Generations. Star Trek. I don't know if you ever saw it. Star Trek 7 wasn't a great movie, and in the plot of that movie, Malcolm McDowell, who's a scientist,
Mm,
there's this like ribbon of energy that if you get stuck in it, you're sucked into it. It brings you like to a place where you feel joy and you're there with all your loved ones, and you never want to leave. And in the movie, Captain Kirk gets sucked into this. In the beginning, they all think he's dead, and then
right.
Picard goes and rescues him. And when they're in this nexus, all these things you're seeing is like Picard's possible if he would have had a family, or Kirk if he did do this. So
Mm.
this was kind of reminiscent of that, although it wasn't that type of thing. It reminded me of
I
that.
No,
So
I would say the ending kind of was very. I haven't seen it, but what you just explained kind of sounds like the very end when he's kind of like he's going through the motions, but then he's in his apartment, but his wife walks through and he's kind of like, "Are you real?" And she's like, "We don't," or he's like, "Am I dead?" And she's like, "We don't have to worry about that anymore. Like
yeah,
it's just they're in
well,
paradise."
he never came home. He realized
Right.
when he cut his hand and it healed
Heal.
immediately.
Yep.
He knew he was living in that fantasy world, whatever that was, death or life or somewhere. So the concepts of this movie were pretty hefty and lofty and high. The
Yeah.
execution just wasn't there to handle that, and I think it just was that a lot wound up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, I was gonna say the editing. I do feel like there was more there to the movie because Steven Soderbergh, but the studio for whatever reason decided to. But I feel like there's another, at least like you said, 2 hours at least for this movie.
It could have been, yeah,
But
it could have been 2.5 hours easily. I'm not sure I would have liked it because it was slow as shit, but
The payoff might have been a little bit better,
Right,
though,
but I
after a
thought
certain.
it never. I mean, these movies are slow as crap, and you just want to turn them off. I never wanted to turn this movie off. I wanted to get through it. It's just very slow, and just because of the way it's shot and edited, it's not convoluted. Let me just say, hey, Two Gun Pedro, thanks for stopping, man. Hope you probably watched it. I know he watches everything that we put on there. I want to say what you thought of it. Maybe you could jump in here. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, Pedro.
He won't do it. We'll put it in the chat.
Hop on.
Yeah, but, a lot of interesting scenes. You did get to see George Clooney's ass, which was there.
Yeah, he's got some buns.
PG, 13 movie. Jeremy Davies, that's a nutty guy. I like him. He's, of course, I don't know, did you ever watch Justified?
Yes, he was in the Mafia, the Dixie Mafia. Yeah.
And he's the same fucking character in that movie as he was in this movie.
And Lost. Have you seen Lost?
I haven't seen Lost, no.
He plays a crazy scientist dude. Like, it's he plays that role so well.
Yeah, so I guess that's where they bring him in.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
He played a timid, but he wasn't crazy, but he did play like the.
He's been in a lot of big movies. He's a good actor. But, I kind of like his character was interesting at least.
Yeah.
And then they were wondering where all the blood came from, and that's where the blood came from at the beginning. Is when he had to kill his original guy there.
And then it had me questioning. Is like he obviously wasn't evil. Like he was just scared because he's the one that gave them the suggestion and how to escape at the end.
So let me back up because I'm kind of confused by that. Okay, so his original guy that came to him was his brother. Or did he make that up?
I think that he made that up. Like
okay, but hold on. So, but usually didn't it work that you would see people, you wouldn't see yourself?
Maybe he was a twin. But and then with the guy's son, he said his son wasn't dead. His son was on Earth. That's why he's kind of like freaking out because his son was on Earth and he had a copy of his son in space with him.
Who are you talking about? The doctor?
The doctor that George Clooney's friend that called him out.
Okay, but no, I'm talking about Jeremy Davies.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if the doctor can create a copy of someone living, that's not dead, maybe you could create a copy of yourself. I don't know what you would have to be going through psychologically to create a copy of yourself, but I was either thinking that had to be that or he had a twin.
Yeah,
and that was his twin.
Because it looked a little different. I don't know. It looked a little different, but it's hard to tell because it was frozen or whatever.
And they don't really go. There's not really any explanation. It's kind of take it as you will in this movie.
There's a lot of movies. I mean, this kind of goes back to the 70s movies, like 2001 stuff. They never explained nothing in the 70s movie. Well, it's any 70s sci-fi movie. You get nothing explained to you. A lot of it was open because they wanted you to think when you left the theater. Imagine that. Walking out of a movie and thinking about it. Can you imagine that? Shit.
Inception, my ass.
Crazy. Give me fucking, Fast and Furious 10, my God.
Hey, I will go see all of those movies, knowing they're going to be, I'm going to complain about certain aspects of them afterwards. Like, but they're fun, it's fun cinema.
I like the first 7. First 7. Yeah, 7.
I would say I don't really like 2. I like 1, 3, 4 is all right. 5 is when they made the tonal shift. I respect 5. 6 was 7 was solid, but after that they've kind of it's been Hot Wheels. I would go
the same thing. I would say 1, 3, 5, 7, pushing it 8 because I think wasn't Hobbs in that one. Didn't he fight
that
Hobbs
was the last one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'll give it to that. But after that, 9, 10. Well, why don't we talk about Fast and Furious during a George Clooney? Was the movie?
He's gonna be the next one. No, it was all right. No, so what?
How's it going?
I appreciate Solaris for what it was trying to do, and it's not, it's not usually Soderbergh's style. So, like at that point, it wasn't. I don't really think he's ever done anything sci-fi outside of this. But I appreciate it because he's a very diverse director. Like have you ever seen Haywire? If anyone's never seen that, I recommend it. Yeah, Haywire. Great little thriller.
Wasn't he?
No, that was it had Gina Carano. She got canceled. She was in Mandalorian, but she got
Oh,
canceled
maybe I
for
didn't see Haywire.
Channing Tatum. It came out like 2012.
Yeah, no, I
Ian
was thinking of a different movie.
McGregor,
No,
Michael
maybe a different.
Fassbender.
No, I don't think I did. No.
It's pretty, but Soderbergh, he steps outside his comfort zone.
Yeah,
So
but
I can
he
appreciate it.
did Out of Sight.
Oh,
He did
I'll be right back.
okay. Doing Out of Sight and doing things like Sex, Lies, and Videotape. He's an interesting director. I'll never damn a movie for being slow, but being semi-interesting. And I thought this one was semi-interesting. Now, I'm gonna probably end up going back at some point and watching. I haven't. This is the first. I always like doing one movie a month on a show where I didn't see the movie. I want to see everything I review. Obviously a lot of the stuff is stuff that I really enjoy. I want to get it out there for people. But I like to take one movie a month and do something I didn't see. So I enjoyed watching this movie, but I see its flaws. But it wasn't a horrible movie, and I think the story was interesting. Now I want to see the 72 Russian version. I know it's quite a bit longer, and it's supposed to be. Okay.
I was listening to you.
Yeah,
I heard everything.
The 72 Russian version is supposed to be a little different. It's not quite the same story. It's similar, but they did
a little space. It seems like
But that one was always had a big rep. I mean, Criterion put out a disc of it, and so it's elevated sci-fi.
What's the runtime on that one?
That one's about 3 hours and some odd minutes. Yeah.
That's what I thought I saw. See, that's the movie with the concepts that's floating around. Even though, like you said, it is kind of about the romance. The ideas alone needs time to be like spaced out and fleshed out.
Especially since it wasn't just him going through it. I mean, we had other characters going through it in the story, and they almost became kind of superfluous. Is that what's superfluous? Superfluous?
Superfluous. I know what you mean.
I gotta lay out the weed. Anyways, not necessary. They didn't really need to be there. In fact, when he first got to the station, I thought there wasn't going to be anybody there. He'd find everybody dead, and then maybe we'd see his wife, and we'd have to figure out what's going on. But there were other characters there, so. And they bothered to spend time with them. I mean, they had scenes specific, but we didn't learn too much about them. Okay, so
what about this? Why was Viola Davis? How come they couldn't get a hold of anybody? Everyone's going crazy before he gets there, but then once he gets there, she comes to and she's ready to leave. Like, why didn't they report the doctor's death or?
Well, no, she wasn't ready to leave. She wanted to stay there and fight it. I don't know why didn't they say that the comms are down. There was something holding back from doing it. They said something. There was an explanation in there. At that point, I was probably like,
right, yeah.
Thank God for my remote. I used it a lot.
Yeah, I won't lie. I rewound a few scenes, but I just, I don't want to say it's because it was boring. I think it was more or less I was missing something because some of the stuff was just, like I said, the editing was very jarring. And maybe that was intentional. But I don't think it was effective as much as he wanted it to be.
Yeah. I just thought he needed more time to flesh out the plot and what was going on with it.
Yeah.
But overall, I like the story. Anyway, I guess this was a good one for Valentine's Day. Should have had a significant other on to give a opposing viewpoint, not just two dudes. But
it's all subjective.
I know. I remember the only, I know that the woman in this movie, Natasha McCone, I think is her name. She went out and did quite a bit of stuff. She was in Californication with David Duchovny.
That's why. Okay, I was like, where have I seen her from before? Because
she's been in a bunch of other stuff too. So I forget what else.
That's some badass woman in this.
But she's been in a bunch of stuff from television. So. And then George Clooney, back then they weren't sure George Clooney was going to be the right guy for this. If you watch the special features,
no way.
They had somebody else. The other guy passed because back then George Clooney, remember, was just coming off of being
Batman.
Batman. Yeah, was a ways before Batman. Then Batman, and then it took him a couple of years to get over that Batman shit. And then it was Out of Sight. I think it was the next one. It was before this.
Out of Sight came out in like 97, 98.
Yeah, so it was before this, and that's where he worked with him before.
Yeah.
And but I didn't think he could, be in a sci-fi high concept movie. I don't know why.
I dig George Clooney.
I think he has
I
quite a bit of range, but he did get it kind of a second fiddle to whoever they had cast before that. Fantastic news. Thanks for coming on. Kenneth, how's it going, Kenneth?
Can it?
You guys may want to post your thoughts about the movie.
Yeah, if you guys
watch it.
seen Solaris, nice little sci-fi
So the
romance.
acting was really good. Jamie Davies was good. Viola Davis, she was outstanding, but didn't have much of a part.
And that's why I got to give it credit to the actors, because if you had given these roles to lesser actors of lesser caliber, they would have easily been easy to talk shit about, or just very throwaway characters, But they, for what it was, they added a lot to those roles.
Mm-hmm. And then George Clooney, didn't he basically repeat this in Gravity? Wasn't he kind of the MacGuffin in Gravity?
MacGuffin, well, I mean, he kind of owned Gravity, who was just because he died very early on.
He was dead. He wasn't there.
A hallucination.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's been in space movies since then, so he showed his range.
Very true.
But overall, I give marks. If we're going to rate this movie, I guess we might as well go ahead. I don't know if we talked this out to death. Not much you can say on this movie. Really, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I would give it 3. It doesn't fully, I think, realize its potential, whether it's because it was edited badly, a lot of stuff was cut out, or just it wasn't there in the script. I dock it for that a little bit, because I got more out of reading the Wikipedia than I really got from the movie of a precise plot points. And as I said, they're in the movie, but they're tough to dig out.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that.
No, yeah. So I've thought this before, but it's like, if you got to do too much digging for a movie, like the movie didn't really do its job. Not to say that, you should think about afterwards with a movie, but if it's like a specific plot point that's supposed to help you understand a certain part of the movie or the end of the movie, then movie hasn't done its job. With that being said, I'll give this movie 3.5. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the romance. You don't really see too many. I haven't seen too many romance sci-fi movies, specifically in space, where there's really not any action. The roles, everyone played their role perfectly, and even though the side characters, like I said,
Starman.
Oh shit! Yeah, Starman. Yeah, that had some action in it, though.
Yeah, more than this. Yeah.
But I do think that there's for the concepts this movie was floating around, they didn't have enough time to really flesh them out and breathe, and I would have liked to see that explored a little bit more. So I think I didn't not enjoy it. I enjoyed seeing this movie. I just wish they would have done a little bit more.
Well, apparently America agrees with you. It cost $30 million and only took in 47. So it was, by all intents and purposes, a bomb. But one thing we didn't talk about too much, because in this movie almost doesn't matter, but they're there, and they were decent, was the special effects. The special effects, the space station, the space stuff was done pretty well. And they looked pretty unique. The whole effect of Solaris with the pink cloud. I didn't even realize you were going to a planet until the end. I missed that somehow. And then all of a sudden it's a planet at the end. I thought maybe just the field was doing that, because they never really showed the planet until the very end. But I guess that was the field around the planet, whatever was causing all that stuff to happen. If you want to watch science fiction that has like concepts like this, but nothing is ever explained, it all just goes away, catch Space 1999, the old British TV series, the first season only.
Space 1999.
Yes, it was a British show. It tried to be 2001, and it tried to have all these lofty ideals, and they was good, but nothing's ever explained. It's like it's a cosmic force. It's one of these things that happens, and then the second season they just had rubber-suited monsters and went to shit. But first season wasn't bad. Second season wasn't bad. Anyways, I diverse. The space stuff was good. It's too bad. I think this movie does. This is what either people love it, they hate it, or they kind of like it. It does have a big following now on video and stuff. There's some people have said they've watched this movie 40 times. I do think like women do like it because it does have the love story, and George Clooney's ass shows up in some of it. So for that, they probably just put it on pause. But overall, I enjoyed it. I don't mind. I didn't mind watching it, and I will probably watch it again sometime because I want to kind of get some of those plot points. So it'll be a viewing. So
This is a movie where you'll definitely I think you'll feel different after. I haven't seen it this twice, but I feel like I'll have a different outlook upon my second.
So you had seen this before?
No. It was my first time, but I feel like just because the way the movie was paced and I know what to expect, I'll have a different outlook on a second viewing.
Wow, the Notastic News gives it 5. Him and Robbie really loved this movie. Yeah, good. It's worth. I mean, it's a good movie. It's worth it. I mean, but everybody sees everything a little differently. So
yeah.
I can see. Oh, Two Gun Page. Oh, he's at 5 phases for Clooney's tan-lined ass. All right, I suppose that's good. We didn't get to see Clooney's ass in Batman. We just saw the chaps
and the nipples.
And the nipples. I will say on record once again that George Clooney could have been a fine Bruce Wayne. Actually, he was a good Bruce Wayne in that movie. But he could have been a fine Bruce Wayne and a fine Batman with a good script and a good better director.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he would have done fine.
On paper, George Clooney should work as Bruce Wayne, or at that point in time, he should have worked as Bruce Wayne. But it was just like you said, better script.
And same thing, but to a lesser degree, I think with Val Kilmer. And it wasn't never sold. Val Kilmer was a little stiff in that movie. He almost was like, I don't want to be in this movie. But he
didn't. Him and Schumacher did not get along.
Yeah, but I think even he, with a better script, would have been okay.
Yeah. Batman Forever,
Point,
actually, I like Batman Forever.
By that point, Alfred was 105, Robin was 43, and Batman was in his 40s, so it didn't play. So Robin was should not be a grown-ass man. Sorry.
Very true.
But other than that, all right. So hey, Link, thank you for coming on. Next week we have a better film, I think. Danny Boyle going Irish.
Oh,
Sunshine next week.
Oh man, yeah.
And that's a interesting film. And that movie, I think, covers a lot of the same concepts. Some of the similar ground as this film, but it does it better. And it does it a little bit more interestingly. But there's sort of.
It's this is more of a romance and sci-fi. That's more of a horror sci-fi.
Horror sci-fi, yeah, exactly. But that was a good movie. And then in 2 weeks we have Oblivion with Tom Cruise and Morgan Freeman. Also,
bangers.
A couple bangers there. Before we get into March, and we'll find out what those are going to be in a couple weeks. Feel like somebody should be doing Leprechaun movies in March, and nobody's doing it.
He's got enough to cover the whole month.
Robbie waits till fucking November to do fucking Shamrock movies. I don't understand it. But Leprechaun, whatever.
That's how you do it.
And then coming up, I think what's Robbie doing tonight? He was doing a movie tonight, wasn't he?
Flash.
Oh, that's right. He's doing
Flash
Gordon. I have a soft spot in that movie. Have you ever seen Flash Gordon?
Once. I've not seen it in a long time. I just remember the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's another goof of a movie. It's campy as all hell, but it's just entertaining and fun, and the effects are good, and the soundtrack was great back in the day. So Flash. So he's doing Flash at 9, and then next Friday night we have some more Twilight Zones coming up. Next Saturday night, I think we are doing. What are we doing next Saturday night?
That Pearl.
Oh, Pearl! I won't be there, so that's why I didn't forget. But I'll be back hopefully in a couple weeks. Pearl's a great movie though. Enjoyed that one. I still say you watch them in theatrical order. You watch X first, and then you watch Pearl. You don't have to watch them in reverse. That's like saying watch the fucking Star Wars 1, 2, and 3 first. No,
I mean you don't have to, but you'll get. I think you get a different viewing. You get a different feeling watching them in different orders.
You want to discover Pearl, and you want to discover the old nympho. You want to have no knowledge of her before you see her in X. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. They want to flesh her out afterward. But you should not know when she's killing people, that nympho old lady, you don't want to know too much.
Yeah, but look at it this way. If you saw Pearl first and then you saw X, you would see like we see her at the end of Pearl and we don't know what her
Right.
life amounts to. If you see X, you're like, oh wow, bro, she still ended up living a shit life. She never went anywhere. No
All
wonder
right,
she's
but,
so I mean
that
so
was good to find out, though. I think of the second movie. But anyways,
no
you
yeah
can
no
watch
yeah.
me the way you want, but don't watch 1, 2, and 3 Star Wars first. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I've watched them in OG order and one, two,
You
three.
know, as soon as you hear Misa gonna be going to Huda, you're out of there. You're never gonna watch the rest of them. So, come
Phantom
on.
Menaces dessert gets too much hate. It's
I
not
like
the
I like Phantom Menace. I think it's a good movie. I wouldn't mind Misa Hua, whatever, but it's racist as fuck. But whatever would float your boat back in 1996. I don't know, but it's a decent movie. I liked it. I mean, the
yeah
action's good.
yeah.
I actually like. I think 1 and 3. I think were fine movies. 2 is a little. I hated fucking. Now we're talking Star Wars in a fucking review about this, but I hate
Sci-fi they
Hayden Christensen's just spoiled brat Anakin. I just did it. He's a bad actor. And I just
no what
and all
no
that stuff and
no
all that stuff where I just don't like his. He has no chemistry with Padme. None at
that was
all.
George Lucas's
I
directing,
know.
bro.
I know.
Everyone it was
Anyways, yeah, and his dialogue too. I don't blame Hayden Christensen with a good
yeah.
script. Probably going to be okay. But the
Yeah.
lines he was giving to her and stuff was just horrible. Just the way it was directed was.
Check out Vanishing on 7th Street. That was a Hayden
I
Christensen.
seen him in other movies. I saw him. He was in Push. Was he in Push?
He was in very similar, but Jumper.
Oh, Jumper. Why did I think it was
Yeah,
Push?
because they're
Jumper wasn't
very
bad. Yeah,
there's no.
but
I
I
enjoyed
mean,
both of those.
but he's an okay actor. I think the person that really gets more shit than he does for destroying Star Wars movies is that little kid in the fucking Phantom Menace. He was all right.
Oh, Jake Lloyd, young
Yeah,
young Anakin.
he had
Yeah,
such
people gave. He was a kid.
death threats and stuff. He was a
He quit
kid.
acting because of that
Yeah,
role.
I know. People can be so
That's yeah.
freaking mean. No reason to do that. He was a horrible.
No, he wasn't. He was in
And
Jingle All the Way, and that's a classic.
and then the poor Game of Thrones guy, Joffrey, he had to fucking get on that thing or he's gonna be killed.
That's just a testament to being a great actor, bro.
People
He
are so
had to.
fucking out of their minds, man. What the fuck?
You piece of shit! You killed Ned Stark. It's just a show.
Calm down. Calm down. Jesus Christ. But don't let me get on about fucking Picard, man, because I'll fuck y'all up.
I haven't seen it. So I
Well,
can't.
supposedly this season, the third season, and from all indications I've seen, the third season actually is going to be pretty good. And everybody's saying it's good because a different showrunner took it over. In the season, they brought back the old cast, and it at least has a story that's semi-resembling what came before. But the first 2 years of that show was so bad, and I've said it before, I don't care how good. The fucking Patrick Stewart can step out of the fucking screen and blow me or whatever, and I don't care. It's wasted its goodwill on me, but I will watch it. I hope it's better. But the first 2 years of Picard, man, I want to kill somebody. That's just me. Anyways, so come back here next week for Sunshine. Hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope you watched this movie and enjoyed it. Fantastic news.
Yeah.
Tuca Pedro, Fable was in here earlier. Thanks for stopping by. Dylan, get the tacos, man. Get some gas. And we will see you a couple weeks for me on Dylan's Horror Show. We'll see you guys end of the week with Twilight Zone and Pearl. So we will catch you all later. If you got them, smoke them. And bye, y'all.